Well, 3 weeks ago, or has it been a month now? Gosh, I don't even know. Many weeks ago, I made the mistake of taking apart my perfectly good running 2010 E63 AMG to finally start tackling the cosmetics after it was down for 2 years with a misfire that I could not figure out. Nope. This is actually unbelievable. Wanted to start up front and see if we could take care of the fading and cracking front headlight lenses, which, if you guys have been following along, started with me getting an extra set off of eBay so that we could experiment with painting a little bit and see how much of a pain the permaseal was going to be, which it turned out was a lot. Shoo! So much so that I decided I was going to order 2 additional sets of headlight bases, one from eBay, one from AliExpress, both of which coming from China, to see if we could just build new headlights from scratch. New bases, new lenses, and then swap all the Mercedes guts over. Not really thinking it through, I took this whole thing apart and then realized that the headlight bases were still 2 weeks away. So I kind of put that on hold and worked on the Mini Tub and the Camaro, and if you guys haven't seen it already, got a new project on the channel, 2017 Cadillac CTS-V, but both sets of headlight bases just showed up like, I don't know, a couple days ago, and now I'm itching to get this thing back together. Let's build some headlights. What's the kid from Toy Story when his toy rocket finally shows up and he's like, "It came! It finally came!"
It came! It finally came!
Weeks for this thing to show up. Well, we're getting to the end of another busy Saturday here in the garage, and that means I did a bunch of work with my truck. Thankfully, the interior, specifically the carpets, are protected because I just got the new 3W floor mats for my 2018 Super Duty. You guys have seen the 3W floor mats on the channel quite a few times, and that's because I've tried all the other mats on the market, and these ones are my favorite. They use a proprietary TPE material. These things are laser measured for a precision fit. They fit the truck absolutely perfectly. They're not slippery like a lot of the other floor mats on the market, which is one of my favorite things about them. Not only does this TPE material look and perform incredibly, but it's also 100% odorless. My dog Tucker's got a very sensitive nose. He walked right up to these things, didn't even flinch. Super easy to clean. Doesn't matter if you hop in the truck with mud, snow, sand, dirt. Just pop the mat out of the truck, hose it down, wipe it off, good as new. Plus, for you F-150, F-250, and F-350 owners like myself, these new mats have a metal plate where your foot goes, right under the e-brake. So this is gonna be your high wear area, increased durability, and this brushed aluminum finish looks absolutely incredible. Use my link in the description, it's gonna save you guys a few bucks. Protect your ride, protect your carpet. Get yourself a set of these mats. Man, look at all these headlight parts. So I've got 2 sets of housings, 2 sets of new lenses from eBay and or AliExpress. I've got my original, untouched, but very yellow and very cracked looking E63 headlights over here. We'll get to these in a little bit. Then I've got these spare set of headlights over here, which we cracked open in the last 2 videos. I'm gonna start with these and see what works, see what doesn't, see what I like. Here's the parts we painted last time that are covered in dust and stuff. We'll see what combination of, you know, silver or chrome and whatever I like. I just wanted to do a test fit over here of how the aftermarket base fits with the aftermarket headlight housing, or I'm sorry, the headlight lens with the aftermarket housing, and it fits really nice, really snug, which is good because now we've got a nice, clean channel in there to pop this lens onto. We don't have to deal with this broken one that is full, chock full of permaseal, and the nightmare that would be getting all that out and getting all that clean. Instead, I think it should be fairly easy to unbolt these guts, transfer them over to here, get our new painted parts in, put some butyl rope in the channel, and then we can seal these things up. Butyl has been used to seal headlights for years and years and years before permaseal. It works great, and if we ever need to service these headlights in the future, the butyl is going to come apart a lot easier than the permaseal, like literally 10 times easier. So I've built a bunch of sets of headlights using butyl. Never really had any leaks or issues, so that's what I'm going to do now. So let's start by getting all of the Mercedes guts, all the good stuff out of these beat up old original housings and transfer them to these AliExpress China ones. Yeah, buddy. A little Sullivan ingenuity. Woo! All right, well, I've got just about everything stripped off of the OEM Hella / Mercedes base here. Things went pretty fast until they didn't. I ran into my first hiccup right up here with this, I guess this is the headlight adjustment motor. I could not figure out how to get this little thing off there. Struggled with that for a while, but really didn't want to break it because at the end of this, I'd really like to have 2 sets of headlights. So I figured if I'm sacrificing the base anyways, let's use our multi-tool. Let's just quickly cut this thing out and see if we can figure it out. Popped it into the vise with a, let's see, 21 mil socket as a press and was able to press out the little gear thing there without damaging it. Put some fresh lube on the O-ring, pressed it back in here after reinstalling the motor. Good to go. The only other thing I've run into, as expected, there are some parts on here that are really designed for, you know, not to be disassembled. It's a one-time, you know, the headlight's an assembly. If it breaks, you just buy a new headlight. But there's, back here, there's a little adjustment knob, and this shaft goes through here to make the adjustment on that white thing right there. And I probably already lost it. Oh, no, here it is. This gear, which then interfaces with this gear, which I already swapped on over here, this whole shaft here, you can see the knurled fitting right there. It's a press fit. So you can only get this whole assembly out if you get this out, and you can only get that white thing out once you get this off. So this gear right here has to come off first. So same thing, I said before I break something, you know, I was prying at this for a while with a bunch of different tools and, you know, giving it all sorts of force and was ready to break something. I finally just said, screw it, let's cut it out and we can see if we can get it out that way. Again, put it in the vise and was able to punch the shaft through. And now I think we can kind of press this back on. So far, 2 for 2 on the difficult parts, getting it to press in there. But everything else, all these connectors and stuff have gone right in. Got this, you know, the turn signal, that's all bolted up. This thing should just kind of pop right onto there now. And then the rest of it, I think, is basically just bolts and screws and whatnot. So let's keep going, and I think all I got left over here is a couple of these mount things which should just unscrew, and this thing is bound for the scrap pile. If I want to be fancy, I might even see if I can transfer this Mercedes sticker just for that, you know, OEM minus touch, I guess we'll call it in this case. For now anyways, until we see how these headlights come out. Shoot, doggy. Couple of fresh black housing units. Damn. Even went the extra mile and did a little wet sand and buff on my rattle can job there. You can see already how, you know, painting everything black would almost be too much. It already almost looks like the inside of the headlight disappears here. So I'm glad I left this trim ring silver, left all this, you know, stuff around here, chrome. But looking good. These are just loosely together right now until we decide what we want to do. But man, these things came out killer for a total investment of like, I don't know, 300 bucks, including the scrap headlights I got. We could easily sell these probably for close to 1,000 or maybe more if we wanted to, but we'll see which pair ends up looking better on my E63 if we can ever get this thing off jack stands. But up next is the original E63 headlights, which the lenses are just in terrible shape. I think I'm going to use my multi-tool to get these apart instead of wasting, you know, an hour or two or three probably getting the lenses off and then cleaning out the channels. We're just gonna cut this one open and then throw in one of these China bases and lenses, which fit together perfectly, at least this set did. And I think these are actually made from the exact same manufacturer. So very happy with the fitment. We should be able to seal these up with butyl and be good to go. And this is basically where we're starting. Nasty. Let's get this thing cut open. Less than 5 minutes. There's a lot of W212 headlights going on here. Cruising right along though, got the OEM E63 headlights cut out. This is one freshly cut. Use my multi-tool, split this thing right open, no big deal, 5 minutes or less. And I think that was the move, considering that all we're really after in here is the guts. If I had all of these parts ready to go, this would have been a super fast job. But it's going a little bit slower because A, I was waiting for parts, and B, we're doing like 4 headlights here and some custom paint and everything else. But I already got my E63 stuff swapped over to those brand new lenses. Look how good that looks already. Just about ready to take this one, swap everything over to the last good base over there. But wanted to interrupt for a second and show you guys what's going on with this base. I'm doing a couple of, while you're in there, shirts on the website. Upgrades. You guys know we're all about while you're in there, and while you're in there I figured I'd do a couple of things, one of which I've already run into an issue, which I guess we'll start with that. Also, Sam Summer, it's out, is these parking lamps. So these are the lamps that come, you can see it's kind of aimed over towards the side, so this is the passenger side, so it'll be shining out that way. These are the lights that come on when the wheel is turned at slow speed, so it's designed to illuminate like a pedestrian in a crosswalk if you're taking a right turn, for example. So they're not on all the time, so this isn't a huge deal right now, but when I was putting in my big AliExpress order, I bought a set of LEDs to replace the factory halogen H7 that goes in there, but Basically, I'm running into an issue with the way that the H7 is secured in the housing there. You need an adapter of some sort, and I hurriedly ordered a couple of those on Amazon, and I don't think any of these are right. So I'm gonna have to put the factory, just halogen H7 in there for now, but not to worry. I think I'll order a set, or try and get the right set here on the way, and then there's this giant access hole that we should be able to reach in here and upgrade that to an LED if we want down the road. If not, no big deal. Like I said, it's really just when the car's going slow and you're turning, so it's really not even on that much. This bulb right here, this is your parking lamp per se. This already has an LED from the factory, so that's good. And then we come to the main projector, and again, this is the active cornering headlight, so it goes up and down and left to right and turns with the vehicle. So you can see that whole motor cage assembly in here. Well, I saw that some guys upgrade to, this is like an Evo, I don't know, I forgot the name, Evo XR Morimoto knockoff. But basically, sometimes these projectors can get foggy. So some guys said that this would be a direct swap. You just swap one of these in. But the motor is kind of built in there. That doesn't seem to be the case. So I think what I'm going to do is just try and swap the projector itself, the glass projector. These are pretty cheap on AliExpress, so we've got a crystal clear projector right there. This one's not bad, but I mean, you put them side by side, that one looks a little bit more clear. I think basically what you do is, I've already done this, you bend these tabs back right here, and you see that little ring in there is like, come on, focus. Yeah, that little ring right there, that's a retaining ring. Knock that out, should be able to pop this one out, and then pop this one in there, and then we basically have a brand new projector, and we can keep all the original Mercedes motor. And then again, because we're right here, I've got two brand new D1S xenon bulbs for this thing, so that, I mean, these were both good when I took them out, but you know, I think one of them was starting to get a little bit pink. So if we're right here, got two brand new ones, 5000K colors. That's basically like white with just a tiny hint of blue, so should be OEM or OEM plus. So a couple upgrades while we're in there. Let's get this one knocked out, get the other lamp all together, do our upgrades, and then we need to decide if we're putting on the black housing ones or the standard silver E63 ones with the brand new crystal clear lenses. All right, first start in a month. Let's see if the headlights do their... All right, well, I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is All 4 headlights are done. They just need to get sealed up, but it's always a good idea to check to make sure that everything works that you change before you seal up a headlight build. In this case, these 2 right here are tested and they work perfectly. Just got to test those 2 right there. Bad news is, I don't know to go with the black housing or the clean OEM E63 housing. On one hand, the black looks badass. It does. I wish we could, it didn't require us to pull the bumper off to, you know, swap headlights. I'd say we could try both, but it's a lot of work to swap headlights on these things. Then on the other hand, like now that we have a clean E63 lens with a crystal clear view of the gray paint and all the intricate details in there, man, I think that looks pretty good too. Especially next to those big old new 390mm rotors. I don't know, guys. I'm leaning towards the factory OEM ones right now, but I really don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to give it some thought while I'm sealing these up with butyl. I still gotta test those other 2, but man, they both look pretty good. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I guess we could always change it up, but whichever pair we don't use, we're probably gonna end up selling to recoup some of our money here, but maybe I just run one on one side and one on the other. I don't know. Here's why you test. Would have really sucked to seal this one up and have this not work. Hopefully an easy fix. Well, not installing the ballast would do that. Like I said, easy fix. Okay, fix that. Now why don't we have directionals? Either side. All right, now they're working just fine. All I did was cycle the key. Maybe the module needed to be cycled, and now they're stopped. What? Why do they why do the front ones shut off after a while? All right, well, something clicks and it like shuts them off up here. I don't get it. Everything else works. We know the blinkers work. There's power going to them. They work until some sort of module shuts them off. Let's seal these things up. Good enough. Hope this doesn't bite me. back on the ground for the first time in a month. Shame on me for, you know, taking this thing apart without having the parts or any idea when the parts were gonna show up, but I've owned this thing for almost 4 years now, 3.5 years. I've never owned it with clear, crisp headlight lenses. God dang, look at those things. Shoo! You know I had to go with the OEM. Man, blacked out looks sick, but I mean, it's a Mercedes at the end of the day. Like, you got the silver wheels, still got the chrome badges. These daytime running lights got the chrome back. I think that the gray is nice. I think it suits this car, although it's really hard to take in how good they look because the rest of the car looks so bad. And I'm allowed to do that because we're just about to do a full paint correction, and God knows if this car has ever even seen a buffer. I'll be able to show you better tomorrow once this car's, you know, got the dust off of it from the mini tub project. But the paint is, you know, nice, but needs correction, heavy correction, just like it seems every car I do on this channel. Black headlight housings are over here. Oh man, these things do look sick, but I couldn't get away from the factory look there. I don't know, maybe we'll hang on to these things if we want to throw them in later. I say throw them in, you got to take the whole darn bumper off, but or maybe I'll sell these. They probably will not be cheap, but if you guys have a W212 with active cornering headlights, you know, you want these fully built up, blacked out, xenon W212 pre-facelift headlights, ready to roll, brand new bases and lenses, and your boy even saved the stickers for you. Tell me this is not an OEM Mercedes part right there. Come on. And we haven't even seen these beautiful 390mm AMG GT dinner plates behind my freshly refinished 20s here. That is the look right there. I love these wheels. If you didn't already know, because they cost me $600 for all four, and I just spent $500 getting the fronts straightened out. That's how much I like those wheels. All right, tomorrow we start what I've been wanting to do in this car basically since I bought it, and that is a paint correction. And I'm freaking excited to do so. This car looks good with just a wash, and the paint is heavily swirled. Can't imagine how good it's gonna look. Completely shined up and ceramic coated. Gonna get right to work on that tomorrow morning. I'll see you guys then. Wasn't long before OCD struck again, and I realized I couldn't have rust on my rear rotors and brand new front rotors, so got to work painting the hats.
Clean it. Cleaning it? Brush? Okay, that's the wrong end of the brush, but oh, that kind of brush. Pretty close. Those things in 4x4? Oh yeah. Brush, brush. Now we gotta make the rest of the car look as good as the headlights.
Driving?
Yeah, we're doing a little swerving.
You almost went off the road.
Yeah, well, he's doing this. All right, see. He's like not strong enough to push the horn.
All right, right, first time driving this thing in a month. First time on those new 390 millimeter massive AMG GT rotors. New pads. Brake pedal feels good. For now, just wanted to wear that paint off the rotors that comes, comes shipped like that, and maybe bed them in a little bit, or at least one step of bedding them in. Then let's get it back to the garage, get right to work on the paint correction, starting with a well-deserved wash. Man, it's crazy how you fall back in love with the car when you get your summer wheels back on, or just new wheels in general. Just seeing this thing out on the road with the summer wheels back on, brand new headlight lenses, even though it's filthy and desperately needs a paint correction, it's like you fall in love all over again. Glad to have this thing back. Can't wait to see that paint glass. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm looking forward to it. Drop a couple gears, pick up some speed. Hard on the brakes, then we'll let them cool. Tell you what, you guys already know it, but the exhaust on this thing just never gets old. You heard me talk about that a bunch, but spicy. Just blowing the cobwebs out after sitting for a month, you know, usual.
While waiting for the brakes to cool, I decided to install my new shifter knob. Everything on the internet said to remove the old one, all you had to do was lift up. Safe to say I did that.
Oop. Jeez. Did not mean to do that. Damn it. Oh. Well, this just got expensive. Guess I better get one of those on order.
No, God!
That's what we wanted to do, without breaking anything.
More on that later. Now, you know, to get this paint looking right, I'm going to my go-to, which is Gyeon products. We're going to start with their foam and bathe to wash the car and remove any loose contaminants. Then once the car's clean, we're going to follow up with iron to remove any brake dust or any other stubborn deposits on the paint. And we'll use their clay bar and clay lube to make sure the clear coat is clean, smooth, and ready for paint correction.
right, you guys know the deal. When I do my paint corrections, I like to have tons of room on all sides of the vehicle so I can scoop my stool around and easily get the doors, and also like to put it up on the quick jack so that the paint is, you know, more in our face as opposed to bending down and trying to get the rockers and whatnot. So gave the newest project on the channel, the CTSV, the boot. Man, I got some sun today. Those first few days of spring, when you've been cooped up in the snow for 4 months, will do numbers to your Irish skin. Anyways, this thing is ready for paint correction. We got it washed, decontaminated, and clayed, all using Gyeon products. So I normally don't wash in direct sunlight for this exact reason, hard water spots, but that's the least of our worries right now. Also gave the interior a quick clean and ceramic coated the leather seats using Gyeon Leather Shield. So this interior is just about as mint as it's been ever. Finally got my original AMG floor mats back in the car for the first time in 2 years because I never bothered to put them back in when the car wasn't running right. I just rocked the winter floor mats, but absolutely 10 out of 10 mint in here. Well, 9.5 out of 10 because I broke part of the shifter getting it off. Trying to install my new Alibaba or AliExpress shift knob, which is actually a great deal. I think I paid like 60, 70, 80 bucks for it, and Mercedes wants 400 for that thing. So gotta see how much that little connector that I broke is, but not too worried about it. Car seems to still drive fine. Anyways, the interior is 100% done, so that when we wipe the last rag down this thing, when the paint correction is done, we're done. It's my new thing. I do the interior first so that once the paint correction is done and I'm completely exhausted, car's done. So you guys know the deal. Many paint corrections on the channel. The Mercedes paint, I've never done this W212 chassis before, but I feel like this clear is gonna be pretty hard. So we're probably gonna go right to the Gyeon purple pad, which is your heavy cut pad with their Compound Plus. So this is their heavy cut compound. This is gonna remove almost all, if not all, of your defects quickly and easily. Then of course an assortment of their wipes as well, probably mostly the bald wipe for the polish, and then we'll save the soft wipe for when we ceramic coat. And if necessary, I've got the big gun out here. I got my rotary and a wool pad and a couple of foam pads as well. As usual, gonna start with a test spot on the hood or the rear deck lid, see what is gonna work as far as a recipe to get 90+% defect removal. We'll see how crazy I wanna go on this one. See if we can get this paint looking slicked in. Here we go, another big paint correction. This is probably too much for one video, but I just want this thing done. I want it 100%. I'm ready to rip this thing this summer. Let's get after it. Everybody loves a good 50-50, and so far I'm pretty impressed with the Compound Plus on the foam extra cut pad. There is like some dimples or something. See all those little specks? It's like a defect in the clear coat that is kind of similar to the Marauder with, you guys remember on the horizontal surfaces on that car, there was like something that ate into the clear coat, and I've noticed it on the hood. And yeah, I can really see it on the fenders there. I don't know what that is. At first I thought it was just like, you know, sanding, like basically sand from the road, creating tiny little dimples and rock chips, but the fact that it's on the deck lid too. And then I was thinking maybe it's overspray, but it almost, if you look really close at it, they're dimples. You guys are never gonna be able to see this. Droid zoom, enhance. Yeah, actually, maybe you guys can see that a little bit. They're like dimples in the paint. Anyways, though, like most of the holograms and swirls and other than those dimples are completely removed. That panel looks really good compared to whatever the heck is going on here. Who knows when the last time this thing has had a buffer on it, if ever. So this is kind of similar to the M5 and just about any car you're gonna do a paint correction on is how far do you wanna go? How much are you willing to put in to get to 100% defect removal? Or is 90% good enough, or 95%? We'll see, I might wanna go a little bit farther on this trunk lid, but I think that for most of the car, the roof is all glass, so we don't have to do that other than this piece right here, which I think is gonna be very satisfying. It's very chalky. But all of the horizontal, or vertical surfaces rather, I think these are gonna correct pretty easily. So I think we'll be able to use the Gyeon Plus with the foam pad, or the purple foam pad, extra cut pad to get most of that, or almost all of the vertical surfaces 100% defect free. But some of these really contaminated areas, we're gonna have to decide how far we wanna go and or get out the wool pad or and or the rotary. And we'll just have to play around a little bit, but I'm just gonna put my head down, put some like mid-2000s house beats, EDM on my headphones, zone out and run some sort of paint correction device for many, many hours. So let's get after it. Quick reading in the jams. About 90 microns. Honestly, not that much thicker up top. I don't know, so we'll call it 30 to 50 microns we have to play with there if we wanted to be safe. Maybe more. Love this tool. Well, I remember why I hate using the rotary and the wool pad. What a freaking mess. This was a clean car 13 seconds ago. And I think I've decided that the DA is gonna be good enough on this car. Whatever these dimples are that are gonna be barely noticeable when we're done, even the wool pad's not taking them out. And I'm not going down the wet sanding rabbit hole. I'm not doing it. I won't do it. not on this one. We're just gonna use the DA and it's gonna be good enough. Gotta get to work. This is taking too long. We're an hour into this. We're still on the deck lid. You know, I said I wasn't gonna wet sand, but just wanted to see a bunch of little divots in the paint. Bummer, man. Well, this paint correction just went from it's gonna be perfect to it's gonna be good enough. I kind of feel like an idiot because I think that this paint has been like this since the day that I bought this car, and the whole time I just thought that it was like road grime or something that would come off with a clay bar and a quick compound. But like the deck lid, but 10 times worse, the hood and the fenders are both got this condition going on. And I'm not really sure what it is, but here, that focus isn't too bad. You guys should be able to see that those are like divots. So that's not on top of the clear coat, like as in it will buff off. That is actual valleys in the clear coat. I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I did a little bit of wet sanding right here, like more than I wanted to do, and it didn't remove the defects. That means they are deep enough that in order to make this 100%, I think this hood and these two front fenders would need paint. And at first I thought it was maybe rock chips, but like I said, it's, you know, it's in this area too, you know, and rock chips wouldn't make their way. This is like a protected area back here. And then again, a little bit of it is on the deck lid as well. And part of me was like, is this because I let it sit outside for 8 months, not driving it 2 summers ago when I couldn't figure out the misfire? But then I looked at this front bumper that I painted in my driveway a couple years ago, and it's got none of that. The front bumper is perfect, so who knows? Unfortunately, a repaint of these fenders and this hood is out of the scope of what I want to do right now. I've just got way too much going on, and I'm not going to sit here for days and carefully wet sand and try to make it as perfect as possible. I've been driving this car for 3 years like this, and it always looked good just with a, you know, soap and water. Looked pretty decent. I think once we polish it out, ceramic coat it, if you take, you know, a few steps back, this thing is going to look absolutely glass. And then only if you get right up on it are you going to see those little specks or whatever. Maybe down the road we can re-clear it real quick. That probably is all it needs, is a quick re-clear, so we don't have to worry about base coat or anything, but I just don't have the time right now. So that's the bad news. The good news is, like I said, the front bumper and the grille, which I painted, are perfect. Everything from here back is also perfect. The doors, I corrected this last night. It's still got a little bit of haze from the buffer, but the doors are perfect. I haven't corrected this one yet, but there's none of that stuff. The quarters are perfect. The pillars are perfect. You guys saw the amazing transformation of these things. These were like chalk colored before. Now they're a nice deep black. I think the rear bumper's fine. The deck lid we already corrected. It's got a tiny little bit of the same thing going on, but not nearly as bad as the front fenders and hood. So my guess is one of the previous owners, likely one of the owners from New York, one of the original owners, something got on the paint, sat on there. I don't know if it's from a tree or, you know, maybe there was a car in front of them that was in an accident. It was brake fluid or who knows, but it's just like whatever was on the paint on the horizontal surfaces and on the fenders just kind of ate into it. So that's a bummer, but I'm going to press on. We're going to continue and finish the compounding of the whole car. Then we'll polish it out. We can ceramic coat it. And this thing, I'm telling you, it's going to look real, like even right now, it looks really good if you take a few steps back. So even though I'm bummed, at the end of the day, a re-clear of those parts is not the end of the world. And for now, for daily driver duties, this thing is going to look better than it ever has in 3, almost 4 years under my ownership. So let's keep going. The other good news is, guys, at least while I'm doing this paint correction, all the dust that goes into that is not going to get all over my Corvette, thanks to the guys at carcover.com. Alan over there sent me this custom fit cover for my C6 Z06. And you guys are always asking what covers I use. Well, I think this is going to be my new go-to. Check out this fleece-lined inside. Super soft, going to protect the paint. Stretchy waistband there. Nice custom fit. Check them out, carcover.com. You know, the 2000s era house beats are my go-to for paint correction. As always, got, 2000s, Tiesto, Cascade, those beats just get you in the zone to do a tedious task like paint correction. Cut phase is done, and without a doubt, this is the best this car has ever looked under my ownership. God damn! Shoo! She is gleaming. Just don't get too terribly close to the fenders, but I'm just trying to be reasonable here. It's a daily driver, doing the best we can. It looks absolutely fantastic. Now we get to do the polish phase, get rid of any haze that's left behind from the cutting phase. So we're gonna switch over to Gyeon's polish and their blue polishing pad. Let's get to work. Let's go, Celtics, baby. Celtics in 4. I really took out all the stops on this one, even polished all the glass on the car, including the panoramic sunroof, to remove any hard water spots. Then you guys know the deal. Once the paint is perfect, it's time to seal it all in with a ceramic coating. This time I'm using Gyeon Mo's, product I haven't used before. Gotta say, I absolutely love it. It went on like butter, comes off like butter, and the paint has never been smoother. I can't wait to see what kind of hydrophobic properties it has, but I've heard it's incredible. Of course, before we can do that, we need to make sure that there's no oils or anything that's gonna prevent the ceramic coating from bonding to the paint using Gyeon's Prep. Just spray on, wipe off. The ceramic coating itself could not be easier to apply. Apply a liberal amount to the included applicator pad. Do your standard basket weave pattern, make sure the product is leveled and you've got good coverage. Then I like to use the 2 towel method. Use the first towel to get most of the product off, flip it over, get the rest of it, then come back with a light and your second backup towel and make absolutely sure that all of the product is removed and leveled off. That's it, and just do the rest of the car. Oh. Well, see you guys later. Well, that is just my luck. Finish a 3-day paint correction and ceramic coating, and it starts raining. Literally just started drizzling as I backed the car out. Immediately threw it back in drive and brought it inside because Gyeon wants you to wait 12 hours for the ceramic coating to cure up before exposing it to any kind of elements. And obviously after all the work I put in, the last thing we want to do is mess up the curing of the ceramic coating. So this thing is gonna sit here for a little while, but man, this is it, guys. This is easily, obviously, the best this car has ever looked under my ownership. I wish I did this when I first bought it, but obviously it didn't make sense to do, put all these hours of work into the paint when it wasn't running properly. But man, these pre-facelift cars, I've had a couple of you guys be like, oh, do the facelift front end, do the facelift front end, do the convection oven tail lights. Nah, man, pre-facelift is where it's at. This thing looks so mean. I don't think I would change anything about this car right now. The front end is just so aggressive with the blacked out grille. I'm really glad that I went with the silver housing headlights. Let me know what you guys think. Everything is just super clean. Love the wheels, the red calipers. A couple little chrome accents here and there on the badges and the door handles. Interior, immaculate, mint. Temporarily got my shift knob on there, which looks absolutely fantastic. Not too bad from AliExpress or whatever. Unfortunately, I broke the ribbon cable on this thing here, so that was an expensive break because these are specific to the 2010 and 2011 E63, which means, yeah, not cheap, but I got a reasonable price on this whole assembly on eBay, so I'll be able to fix this here shortly. But yeah, if you guys are looking to do this mod, I recommend you pull this thing up and unplug everything and actually get the whole bezel off before you start ripping on this thing. It takes a lot of force. So I'm happy, guys. This is the last thing on the list for the E63. I think all I really have left to do for this thing, other than enjoy it and drive it this summer, is reinstall my 6.3 Motorsports catch can, which I took out while I was trying to diagnose the misfire. But I'm gonna get to work on the CTSV out there and finish up the mini tub. Oh yeah, and I've been daily driving the C6 Z06. Good times around here. See you guys later.